Welcome to the Karamat Foundation's talk on Door TV. We will raise several subjects which are historically very important. So, history of mankind, in fact, is a highly complex stream of interwoven events, world visions, persons, and interpretations. And those who tell about history, write about history, and gather stories about history shape the face of history for coming generations. But how can we be sure that we really get to know the true face of history? How do we choose to define the important streams of history? And how do we make sure that our consequences for our daily life and the challenges of present time are based on a proper evaluation of history? So, in a series of movies now about developments in the history of mankind that have been distorted, mixed up and abused for certain reasons by tyrants and power brokers, we will put some light on hidden layers of our common history as mankind. We will do this by interviewing you, Dr. Azmayesh, who is an outstanding expert on religions, sources of religions, and historical contexts. So the particularity of Dr. Azmayesh, who is an Iranian exiled, who lives in France now for more than 35 years, is the ability to have insights in documents of different times and cultures and extract the different layers of information and show the connection of events. In our first series of movies where we would like to get into the depths of history, we would like to take into the Quran. We would like to go into the depth of the Quran, where the Quran talks about different religions, like the Christian religion and the Jewish religion. And there's one religion which nowadays hardly ever is known, hardly anybody knows. It is the religion of the Sabians.
I start to thank you, Karamat Foundation, to bring this light in the historical evolution of monotheism in the Middle East and in the world entire, and the influence of this monotheism in other countries and on other civilization, of course. One of the forgotten aspects of this monotheism is Mandaean-Sabian. It is important to know that the name of the religion of Zoroaster is mentioned only one time in the Quran, but the name of Sabi'an is mentioned at least 3 times in the Quran between the monotheistic people who believed to one God and who were following certain sacred and holy books.
You mentioned the Mandaean-Sabian. Where does this religion come from? Where does it appear in history?
These are people who were named Muqtasile. They were connected to the living prophet of their time, and in order to be connected to this prophet, they needed to be initiated in the river, in the running water. And we know that they consider Saint John the Baptist as their prophet, and the tradition to which they are depending is referring to Saint John the Baptist. So when we go back to the text, to the canonic evangelium and to the fundamental text of Christianity, we see that this tradition is mentioned properly In the Gospel of Saint John Apostle, Saint John Evangelist, he explained about teachers and the masters who were related to Saint John the Baptist, who had the authorization from their master to initiate people in their time after the death of Prophet Zachary in the river of Jordan, and to connect them to the soul and to the leadership and to the guidance of the new master who was Saint John the Baptist. Those people went on with this mission given by their master to them, even after their master Saint John announced to everybody that Messiah, the waited Savior, the expected announcer and Savior, appeared in the person, in the existence of Jesus, son of Saint Mary. So after this moment, Jesus gave from his part the authorization to certain disciples of him to go and to initiate people according to tradition of Saint John in the river of Jordan, and to connect them to himself. But the student and the disciples and apostles of Saint John were going on with their own authorization, and they connected people to their master. So from this moment, as it is written in the Gospel of Saint John Apostle, we see that two branch of Gnosticism and mystical ways parallel to each other started to appear in the history. One became famous after Jesus under the name of Christianity, Christian Gnosticism, and other one was named and famous under the title of Mu'tazile or Saba'in or Mandaean.
Can you describe the region where this religion was lived by, where this religion had its adherents?
So it means that it was certainly in the time of Saint John the Baptist, and after Jesus Christ himself and the disciples of both of them. It was around Jerusalem and Jordan and all of the rivers in that region. But after the decapitation of Saint John, the disciples of Jesus and Saint John, they were spreaded wherever in the world, and especially in the time of the king of Ashkanid dynasty, they were invited to go in Iran and to take place in the region of Mesopotamia next to the capital of Iran of that time, where there are several rivers like Ofrat, Tiger, Karun, Karkhe, and those people remain there till now. Till nowadays they are living there and they are keeping their tradition, and they have their books. The main book that they are using is named Zabur. It is very important book. They have their incantation.
So you are telling that these people were keeping the language, which was Syriac Aramean
Yes,
language?
Absolutely, yes.
And you are telling that there are still some people who live in the south of Iraq and Iran, probably in the marshlands where there's a lot of water. And you mentioned Zabur. Zabur is the book, the holy book of the Sabians.
Yes.
Is it known what kind of book this Zabur is?
Saban and the Mandai, when they do their ritual, they are using a lot of rhythms, and their incantation correspond with the different rhythms. And all of this rhythmical incantation that they are using when they are doing their ritual into the river or elsewhere, when they would like to initiate somebody to this branch of golden initiation, they are using all of this incantation. It is a rhythmical book, and we know that in the history two sacred and holy books was mentioned under the title of Zabur, both of them full of hymn and sacred rhythmical incantation. One was done by Prophet David and another one by Prophet Mani, son of Fatak, who was somebody from exactly that region and that people.
So let us be clear in terms of times. You mentioned that there were two streams where St. John was decapitated and there was this event of crucifixion. You mentioned that the students who followed John the Baptist, they went eastward along the river towards maybe the places of nowadays. The Sabians are nowadays still there, but in terms of time, were they a big community who spread in certain time over more regions, or were there always little communities? In terms of time, for example, when the Quran was written, or in terms of time when Muhammad lived, he must have known some Sabians as they are mentioned in the Quran. How did this happen? Can you describe in terms of time how this evolved?
So this community was living in that region in Iraq of today, in the south of Iraq of today, and the south of Iran in the region of Khuzestan, because there are several rivers in that. They need to be close to the running water. There is a secret with the running water that they respect so much, and all of the incantation that they do, they go inside of the water with each other and they make this incantation, etc. The river is so meaningful in this school of spirituality. When we go to the different churches or to the Gnostic temples, we see always that Jesus is illustrated in the water, and Saint John is standing up, pouring with a shell the water of the river on the top of the head of Jesus, and the water is running under the feet of both of them, and in the water there are the water beings like the duck and the swan. If we are looking from a hermeneutic side, we discover that there are a lot of mystical, symbolic words in this secret language which is used by these people who are attached to this tradition which is connected with the running water. These are the Sabian people, and for these people also what is important is the reflection of the stars in the water. When they are bowing their head, they see the whole universe reflected on this running water. The poetries of Rumi give the example for the substantial evolution about the reflection of the universe on the surface of the running water. Beneath this stable reflection, the water is running. So for this reason, it was not clear really in the mind of the historian who were the Sabian people. Sometimes they are accused to be the sun worshippers. Sometimes they are accused to be the stars worshippers, polytheists. But in reality, they are doing their ritual according to the teaching Saint John, the successors of Saint John, Zachary, and other prophets. So they bring back the source of all of those teachings to Adam, who was the first man sent hereby on the earth by God from the heaven. So they are monotheist people who were looking to find the light of God in their heart, and they believe that for this reason they need to be guided, and they need a real guide, an outer guide, in order to awake their inner potential inside of their heart, and etc. So It is written in their book, in all of this secret, and under the form of a hermeneutic language and a rhythmical hymn and incantation that they are using. So this book of Zabur is full of prayer under the form of poetries.